Okay, it's Friday, January 31, 2020, and this is the 5-minute podcast review. And first month of the year, first month of the decade, in fact, almost over. I'm going to kick off with 2 podcasts around a common theme, that theme being parenting, though looking at it from 2 different perspectives, one being mum's perspective, the other being dad's perspective. So the first podcast is called Flawsome, the name being a combination of flawed and awesome. It's simply 2 mums who have got 5 kids between them talking about the day-to-day trials of raising young kids. As the Flawsome title suggests, these mums are not perfect mums and take a pretty practical, no-nonsense approach to parenting, probably the kind of approach many mums take by the time they get to the 2nd or 3rd kid. So here is a little bit of a sample of Flawsome.
Now, Mishy, we're talking toilet training now. Now, I'm well past the toilet training phase of my mothering career. My kids are, my son's nearly 20, my oldest boy Max is nearly 20, Queenie's 14.
I hope she's toilet trained.
Max was toilet trained last year. We're all
Good work, Maxie.
So proud. And Gus is nearly 9, so I'm well and truly past this hell that you're currently in. But your little ones only. She's little Lady Lulu, our little
Lady Lulu, Eloise.
She's just a little thing, and you're right in the thick of it, aren't you? And Mishy rang me the other
day. Poo City at our place.
She said I can't even move around without finding shit somewhere on the wall.
It's just poop. It's just she'll wee in the toilet, wee in the potty, but she does like to just do a free-range poo. And, she'll just be playing with you on the floor, just doing a puzzle or something, and then doesn't even blink. She'll just do a poo. She just poos her pants. She just poos everywhere.
Squeezes out a nugget.
And you go, did you poo? And she's like, no. I can smell poo. You've pooed yourself. And my son's there going, she's pooed. It's poo. It stinks. The 5-year-old, he's toilet trained. But no, the 3.
Okay, so you get the idea of Flawsome. Other episode titles include talking about knits, cutting kids' hair yourself, surviving a kid's birthday party, lunchbox confessions, getting out of canteen duty, and a whole lot more. So Flawsome, as you can tell, isn't really a serious or even necessarily a conventional parenting guide. It's more the podcast you'd listen to as a frazzled mum at the end of the day with a glass of wine. So that's Flawsome. The link is on your screen. Now, on the other hand, we have Dadpod. Sort of the same thing, except this time it's 2 dads, 2 new dads talking kid stuff, more specifically talking baby stuff. The hosts are Osher Gunsberg and Charlie Clausen, who will be well known to many Australian listeners. Both of them are hosts of other popular podcasts, but have come together on Dadpod as they are both about to be first-time fathers around the same time. In the introductory episode, it's mentioned that there's a ton of resources out there for new and expecting mums, but not so much for expecting dads. Even the stuff out there supposedly for expecting dads talks more about what dad can expect to happen to his wife or partner, in other words, the mum having the baby. So this kind of informs what the Dadpod podcast is all about, dealing with pregnancy and new babies from the perspective of new dads. Many of the expected subjects are touched on across the episodes, things like false alarms around getting to hospital, splitting sleep shifts, baby gear, babysitters, even introducing your dog to the baby. And then there's this.
Thanks for listening to Dadpod. Welcome to the show, Charlie Clausen.
Hello.
How are you feeling?
Good. I encountered my first proper poo explosion on the weekend.
First poo explosion ever?
Yeah, proper poo explosion in the sense that it was in contained quarters.
Yeah.
And it needed to be dealt with promptly.
Was there a hull breach? Well, did we get to the point where there is now poo on the clothing and then on the swaddle?
Not on the clothing, but surrounding the room. So I'll just give you some context. We were on a plane.
Oh.
Flying back to Sydney. And
what row?
Right at the front.
Row 1?
2.
Row 2?
Yeah. We use points.
737? Oh, okay, use points.
Yeah. We thought we'd give ourselves some room. We'll treat it.
Shit. Row 2, business class doesn't have a change table.
100%, and that's what we found. Ironically, we thought we'd use our points to upgrade to business because we've got a lot of gear, we're traveling with a baby. Let's make this hassle-free. We don't have to get to the airport early. We can just rock up, get on the plane, no problem. We were informed before the plane took off that there was no change table in business that would have to go to the back. We're like, fine, she has not pooed on a flight yet. Famous last words. So probably about halfway into a 90-minute flight, there was a rumble. We checked it, just a fart. Another rumble, just a fart. And then there was a third rumble that was loud enough for the entire section to hear. There was a flight attendant who was sitting next to us.
Okay, so I am sensing a bit of a pattern there with talk around babies, regardless of if you're mum or dad. Anyhow, if you're a new parent or even an experienced parent, you might find something to relate to in either Flawsome or Dadpod or both. Right, okay, let's change gears away from babies and talk about Stephen Fry's 7 Deadly Sins. This is a new podcast series where Stephen Fry devotes an episode to each of the 7 deadly sins, which, of course, are pride, greed, lust, gluttony, sloth, wrath, and envy. And it's very Stephen Fry. Lots of British plummy-voiced verbiage, the why use one word when you can use 10 type of stuff. But Stephen Fry does it well. He can be entertaining to listen to just for the sound and rhythm of the words and the wordplay. Here's the intro he gives to the episode on pride.
Pride. I'm proud to welcome you to Deadly Sin number 1. Pride. Proud. Words we hear more than a little. I'm proud to say. It gives me great pride to welcome. I'm proud of my country. Show a little pride in your work. The pride of the Clyde. Black pride. I'm house proud. I'll see you on the Pride March. My pride and joy takes pride of place. London pride. Stand proud. The pride of the Yankees. He takes no pride in his appearance. Have you no pride? Pride of Lions. Civic pride. We're playing for pride now. Make me proud of you, my darling. Make me proud. And pride is a sin. Not just any sin. For 2,000 years, pride has stood at the very top of the list of the 7 deadly sins, held to be the worst and most dangerous of them all. Christian apologist C.S. Lewis claimed that next to pride, quotes, unchastity, anger, greed, drunkenness, and all that are mere flea bites in comparison. It was through pride that the devil became the devil. Pride leads to every other vice. Unquote.
Okay, so even Stephen Fry himself suggests in the trailer that, if nothing else, he hopes the episodes at least entertain. And that's a good way to put it. The podcast is more of an entertaining romp around each of the 7 deadly sins than it is some kind of earnest academic dissertation. It's definitely something different if you want to change up of your usual listening. I've listened to the first 2 episodes, and I've got the feeling I'll probably end up listening to all 7. And with that, I think we are just about done. Flawsome, Dadpod, and Stephen Fry's 7 Deadly Sins are what we looked at today. And don't forget to check out the back episodes for hundreds more podcast suggestions. And email me with suggestions for podcasts to cover, especially the hidden gems, maybe something local to your area. My email address is 5minutepodcastreview@gmail.com. That's the numeral 5, so numeral 5minutepodcastreview@gmail.com. But it should be on your screen in any case. See you in the next episode. Thanks for listening.